Hey guys, we're going to be using green screen over and over this semester when we create senior banners, and we're going to create some other team sports banners and some other things. So I wanted to create a video that you could reference should you ever find yourself forgetting a step. So I picked a completely random model for this activity. Got a picture of a fake Elvis here. So I saw this just come up on a green screen. Thought it'd work well for the activity, so that's why I chose it. So go ahead and let's open up Photoshop. And if you forgot how to open a file, you simply go to Open, and you should have downloaded the image of Elvis from Schoology. So just double click that, and there he is. Let's go ahead and unlock our background layer. So click the padlock, and I'm going to use color range. That's one of my favorite selection techniques. So I'm going to go select in the menu bar. I'm going color range, and I'm going to sample the green background. I like a setting of about 76 for my fuzziness, but you'll remember that the fuzziness setting will vary depending on the picture. So a lot of this setting is trial and error. I know 76 works pretty good with this one, so I'm going to leave it alone. And I'm going to hit my plus button right there. So once the plus button is chosen, I'm going to click on various parts of my preview right there that were kind of had speckled gray color. I want it to be a solid white on black. Now, I can see in this preview it did go select some of the fake Elvis there, but I'm only concerned about the edge. The edge is the only thing I'm concerned about because I will take away from this selection in just a second. So I got it how I want it. I'm going to hit OK. And I can see, if I zoom in, that it included some of this teal color on his interesting vest, okay? So this is a multi-step selection, so I'm going to go to my tool panel to the left. Fourth button down, I'm going to get my quick selection tool. So I have my quick selection tool, and you should remember when you have these tools, if you look at the option bar up here, you have your initial selection, you have your add to selection, and you have your take away from a selection. So here, I want to take away what it has selected. I don't want any of this inner area to be selected, so I have my minus brush. Really doesn't matter what size the brush is, as long as it fits inside your the object you're trying to isolate. So I'm going to go through and just paint over all those areas with this minus brush, and it removes those areas from the selection. I'm going to do the same thing down here on that goofy belt buckle. And then I'm going to go in here, and I'm actually going to use a different tool to add to this selection. I'm going to use, if I hold this down, I'm going to use my magic wand tool. Quick selection tool may have worked, but I'm going to stick with the magic wand tool here because there was bad lighting in this when they took this picture. You never want shadows on your green screen, or these are the problems it creates. So I'm going to go ahead and click in this area and do just a little bit at a time till it gets along that edge. So that's what I'm looking for there. I'm going to do the same thing right there. And if I click these parts correctly, it's going to give me what I want. That looks pretty good through there, the edge selection. So I like this side. This side needs some work. So I'm going to go back to my quick selection tool, and I'm going to have to go to hit the plus button there to add to this selection. So I hit the plus button, and I'm going to size down my brush size. You can either do it up here, hit that to size it down, or a quicker way to do it is if you hit your right or left bracket keys on the keyboard. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to add to this selection, oops, I need the minus brush, I apologize. Take away from this selection just a little bit at a time till it starts yielding the result I'm looking for. And that's too much there. I'm going to go through right there. Don't know if I like how that edge is turning out, but I can modify it. I'm going to apply a mask anyway, so that gives me a little more leeway going forward. Let me bump my brush size down just a little bit, get this area. Take away that little part there. I don't want, oops. I'm going backwards with this. Let me get this part. That's too much. All right, so that it's not going to give me what I want, so I'm going to have to freehand that on the mask after I apply it. So let's see if this will do. Just clean that edge up is all I'm looking to do. I'm going to fix some of that after the fact. So going up here, that looks good. Around there, I can deal with that, I guess. Good enough. Let me zoom out. All right, so this is what I'm left with. The green is what is chosen, so we're going to flip that. So go to select on the menu bar, go to inverse. So now fake Elvis is what's selected, and we're going to hit the masking button at the bottom of the layer panel right there. It masks fake Elvis away, and I'm going to zoom in to, I guess the edge down here won't look too bad. We have so much. We're going to bring this into a template that has a lot going on, so edge detail is going to kind of be blurred by all the lighting effects and filters we have going on in the template. So I'm not going to worry about how clean the edge is, but I definitely don't want any of that green in there because that will ruin any kind of banner if you leave that in there. So let's go ahead and focus on that first. I'm going to focus on the area from the waist down first. So I'm going to zoom in slightly. I want to get rid of the green all the way through here, and I'm going to come back and get rid of it there as well. So I'm looking at my tool panel to the left, and I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th button down. If you hold it down, it's where your brush tool is. If you hold it down, you'll find the color replacement tool. So this allows you to replace colors. Now, as I go over the image on my canvas, it's giving me a circle with a slash through it, meaning I can't do anything with it. The reason for that is I have my mask chosen over there. To use this tool, I need to have my thumbnail, the thumbnail of the image chosen. So I'm going to click on that thumbnail, and now I have the ability to use this tool. Now, before I start using this tool, make sure you're in the mode of color. Make sure your tolerance is above 50%. If it's too low, you'll have to go back and forth over the same spot too much. So I have mine at about 60%, 61%. So I'm going to get rid of this green, and I'm going to sample probably sample the gold next to it to do it, okay? Actually, let me just sample the white. I'm going to replace that green with the white. So with my left hand, I'm going to hold the Option key on the keyboard. And as I hold that key, I'm going to sample the color from the belt next to the green area, or the white part of the belt right there. White, where I get that gray color that matches that area, is now on my foreground color, and I can just paint through this area on the belt and get rid of all that nonsense, okay? All right, so that painted away the green. I'm going to do the same thing with the bronze part of the belt. So I'm holding Option with my left hand, sampling that bronze color right there, and I'm just going to go through and paint that color back in the belt. And it should maintain the detail there. It's just replacing that ugly green. That was somehow an error in the picture. All right, so if I zoom out, that's looking better right there. You can't really tell I fixed it. It'll never be a focal point, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to go through the green down the right-hand side there. I'm going to zoom in that as well and make a determination what color. So let's just go with this gold right here. So with my left hand, I'm going to sample that gold color and just go through there and replace that ugly green. And now it blends in more. It won't be obvious that it was fixed. And you're left with a much better result, right? So I don't have that green running down the right-hand side. All right, let me zoom in some more on the lower half of the body before I start working the edges of his coat. All right, so we got a little green going on down there. Option with my left hand. I'm going to sample the white, grayish color as close as I can, and I can just paint down that edge. So you don't have to worry about, I got to get a little whiter in here. That almost looks like a green tint. Let me go Option. That looks better. All right, so notice as I paint down the edge, it's not putting paint outside the clothing, all right, because those pixels are hidden with the mask, and that's one of the benefits of using the mask. So we've cleaned up that edge. All right, we're going to go through and let me make sure there's not green in this part of the, there's a little right there, so just out of abundance of caution, I'm going to sample that and just click through there just a little bit, okay? Oops, too much. Okay, good enough. I think. All right, so that looks good there. Now we gotta get rid of the green along the edge of his shirt. So option with the left hand, go ahead and sample the color from right there, and we're gonna go along this edge. And do the same thing right there. And anywhere you think you see green, like up there, go ahead and fix it now. There's a little green hue to his hands. And I know it may seem like I'm overdoing it, but when you print stuff out on a large banner and you spend the money to do so, and it comes out with a green hue to it, it's rather frustrating and time consuming and costs money. So we don't want to waste money in here because we fund everything we do ourselves. All right, so let's go ahead and clean up the white along the jacket. So I sampled the color there. Going, oops, that's too much. Just a little along that edge is all I need. And I might be able to bump my tolerance down just a little bit. Make it easier on myself. Yeah, that does. All right, so that kind of blends the color in a little bit more when you do that. Yeah, I kind of overdid it there. Let me go back a couple steps. Take my tolerance down even more, because this area right here, why is it doing that? Tolerance up then. Maybe I had it too low. I just had it too low then. Okay, good enough. As long as it's not green, it's going to blend in better. Plus, the template I'm using has a lot of kind of white glow and light to it, so I'm really not going to be able to pick up the difference in this white color anyway, I don't think. All right, so fake Elvis is starting to look good down the left-hand side. Let me go ahead and finish up on the right-hand side. All right, so going down the right side. I just don't like how that is coming out. What is it? It's this setting I gotta get right. Oh, let me go back to my brush. All right, so when I'm in my color replacement tool, if I go up here, I didn't realize my hardness was set to 100. If I take that down, it's going to soften what it puts on there. It's going to make things a lot easier. So just understand softness will allow you to take the edge out or take that color out at a more gradual pace. And it starts to look better as we go. Alright, so now as I zoom out, fake Elvis is coming alive here. Okay, so we've got the image of Elvis. I don't think I need to modify I think his hair is fine. I don't think I need to modify the mask edge, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to bring them over as such. So before I do, I'm going to apply this layer mask. So I'm going to right click the mask, this little black thumbnail right next to the picture. So right click it and choose apply layer mask. It applies that mask to the image. I can now move it over as one, or move it over to the template. But I need to open the template first. So I'm going to go to File, Open. And I've got the template in Lightstorm right there. So I'm going to open that. And it's opening the template right there. I'm going to bring Elvis over. So with my Move tool, I'm going to move that over to the template. And you'll see it comes in small. We're going to resize this, and hopefully it doesn't become pixelated on us. I did this just a few minutes ago. It turned out fine. It should turn out fine here. So with my left hand, I'm going to hold the Shift key on the keyboard because I want to maintain the aspect ratio of this picture. I don't want to stretch it this way or stretch it this way and not the other direction. So Shift with my left hand, pull up and to the right. It's resizing fake Elvis, and yes, I know he's coming in blurry, but once, that's a little too big. Once we commit our transformation up here, it should clean it up for us. So, all right, so I hit my transformation up there. It cleans it up. This picture is still at a high enough resolution I was able to work with it. All right, so that's what we're left with there. Let me zoom in on the hair. All right, so I didn't see this in the original picture, but look what we're getting right there. Do you see that green effect? I didn't see it in that previous picture, so go ahead and delete what's on the canvas there. Go back to your Elvis, okay? Because we need to get back to the point where we have the mask in order to fix this. So hit Command and Z, and do it one more time. Command and Z twice to undo what was there, so we now can see what we had, all right? So we're gonna go back to that thumbnail. I'm gonna zoom in on the hair up there. All right, I didn't realize that green was there before, but now I do. So with my color replacement tool right there, I'm gonna hold the Option key in my left hand and sample the color that's next to the hair. I went with a lighter version. And now, I'm just gonna bump the size up a little bit so I can go along the edge. And yeah, the hardness is about 67%. I should be able to go through and clean up the green that's showing up along the edge, because that will stick out like a sore thumb when we go to print, and we do not want that to happen, okay? So make sure all that green is gone. All right, so that looks pretty good to me. Let me go back through the process of applying this mask. So I right-click the mask and choose Apply Layer Mask. It's applied. And now I can bring Fake Elvis back over to the template, drop him on the template, zoom out just a little bit, bring him down, and shift with my left hand, resize Fake Elvis to the approximate size, a little bit bigger. All right, so I got Fake Elvis right there. I'm going to commit this transformation, and it should clean him up. So, right, so he's cleaned up. I'm going to just adjust his positioning with the arrow keys. And now I need to reposition him on the layer panel to drop him below the text. So I'm going to hide a couple of the panels over here. So I'm going to go to Window, uncheck Color to free up that space. I'm going to go to Window, uncheck Properties to free up this space. And now I can see my layer panel. So I'm going to start pulling him down. I got him below Chris James. I got to get him below the other layer of text, which is just down just a little bit, so right there. So he's now below all the layers of text, which is where I want him. And now let's go ahead and modify some of that text. So right there where it says James, I want you to select that layer, and I want you to double click the T. So I double click the T, it selects James, and we're going to call this, we're going to rename this, put the word Elvis, right? L-V-I-S. And we are going to go up to find Chris, the Chris layer right there, and we're going to double click that T to select it on the canvas, and we're going to type the word fake. So Fake Elvis is right there, and we got to modify where it says First Coast Buccaneers football. So let's scroll down and select that layer right there, First Coast Buccaneers football, and double click the T, and I'm going to type the words Born to Rock. So B-O-R to rock, and hit my check mark to commit my transformation. And right now I have a banner with Fake Elvis, Born to Rock, but see that bar I have back there? The bar is behind Elvis and it should be in front of him, which means I have him too high up in the layer panel. So I think that's probably the rectangle they're referring to. So I'm going to click on that, the Fake Elvis's layer, and drop him one lower. And did exactly what I wanted to do. It drops him behind that rectangle. And I think we're good to go. Don't worry about changing this number right here. You can leave it as number 1. I just want you to have a reference to be able to drop a green screen, make modifications to the edge of the image, and bring it over to a template. So hope you guys had fun. Hope this helps you, and take care.